ByuL, just saw some of his history. How did he get here? His interviews, translate some of that for you guys. The main thing he talked about was he was so disappointed with his performance versus Classic, losing 3-0 in the round of 8. He did not want that to happen. He was able to advance this time over Innovation. He said he wanted to win with a 2-3 score, but that's, he said that the reason why was because he felt like it was going to be so difficult to break that mech style. He was able to do it, and now he's actually able to defeat TY 2 games versus mech. The score is tied.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close here. Neck and neck here. Going into Game 5, now things get a little bit more complicated against the mech style. This is going to be on Vani Research Station. It is one hell of a mech map.
Yes, it is. I thought it was going to be Terraform. It must be the next map. My apologies for misleading the viewers earlier. But whoever takes this will go into match point. Will be 1 win away from moving to their first finals here at Star League. We'll see who that's going to be in just a moment. The map is loaded, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go into game number 5, TY versus ByuL.
이번 시즌은 꼭 우승하고 싶어.
Down to the bottom at 6 o'clock. It's TY. All right, next time we're going to time this with the cheers.
Yeah. Well, I think you just wait till after. Now we do the introduction.
Okay, let's do it again. TY in the red at 6 o'clock.
There we go. Perfect.
I cut the VOD there, pretty sure.
Up here in the top, we do have the blue Zerg ByuL. Evening things up here, but now things get dicey. Does he have an answer for mech on this kind of map?
That is the question. So, basically just talking about ByuL's getting to the finals last time at GSL. Hoping that he'll do better this time.
Well, if he does make it to the finals, he's going to be up another monster Protoss, and that was a problem for him last time.
Could be the very same Protoss, depending on how that series goes.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
Well, with this pool first, obviously you can harass a Terran who goes CC first on this map pretty easily, which is quite common on this map. But TY again expecting ByuL to do this, and will be finding himself running into a Reaper opening.
I mean, either way, either it's going to be he invests into Zerglings, which hard to say because he's still making drones. It might just be like defense against any sort of Reaper harassment, whether it be proxy or not.
It says, ByuL fighting. I came here today even though I'm really sick to see your games.
Wow. It's true commitment.
True fan. Look at this.
True soldier.
For a second, I was scared it was going to be one of those TY siege tanks or crazinesses.
He like makes a factory and flies it into the natural.
Oh, he's saying it's been 2 years. The next in arena.
Wow, it has.
Well, it really has. It's been a long time, man.
It's been a long time. There we go. SCV scouting everything. Sees that early pull. Knows what he's up against.
Yep. Reaper number 1 coming out. We'll be joined with Reaper 2. We'll see if he does that 3 Reaper play. We saw Innovation do a lot recently at MSI.
Yeah, not a bad style. Gives you a lot of map control early on. Stops any sort of early third base, though I don't think there would be one on this kind of map. I think it'd probably be that 2-base muter opening again into a later third.
It is the 3 Reaper opening. He's going to kind of copy Innovation to a certain extent here. Well, this can actually do a lot more permanent damage and obviously, give you more map control. And when you hit that third base with your Hellions and the Reapers together, Lings and Queens have a lot more of a problem.
Yeah, and it also it's because there is such a huge amount of jumping space for the Reapers as well. They can jump in, poke, and is not very likely that Lings are going to be there.
Yeah. 3 drones in danger. Going to have to see some spore cancels here for sure. Oh, man, this is rough. He's actually going to lose 2 already.
Oh, I think he's going to lose more than that.
Oh, why? No spore cancels. He has the money to. Well, it doesn't anymore, but he did.
Wow. 4.
But he might lose a Reaper for this. No!
Not even. And even if he did, it's completely worth it for 4 drones.
There's
Now,
the tight wall.
3rd Reaper coming, so it's going to get even worse from here as that link speed is so late.
Looks like he actually is going to have to send a Reaper home, that 3rd one, to help defend this. Look at that sick SCV micro, using the halt command in order to save it. Wow. And no scout for this situation, which is kind of funny considering there are no Marines on the map.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go straight into that factory and starport from here. And ByuL already playing a little bit from behind. It might be even worse when these 3 Reapers jump to the main base, if they choose to. They still have a pretty big window of attack. I mean, it's 40 more game seconds until those Zerglings have speed.
Let's see. Queen's in position, though. But if he micros well, he might be able to just get past them, and that's exactly what we see here.
Just ignores them. He can 2-shot drones now, but so many links coming out of that natural.
Links coming out plus an additional Queen here. Looks like he's just going to have to sack these. Not the most successful attack there.
Yeah, a little ambitious that time around. Just coming a little too late. I think it really got delayed by those 2 lings at the front door, harassing that supply.
Yeah, if had he just simply saved those Reapers, he'd have a lot more map control to harass another base with, but will not be the case. It's going to be 2 base Muta anyways again, or at the very least 2 base Lair into Muta.
Oh.
Link speed making this a pretty tough ordeal, but look at that TY's micro on point.
Oh, that's ruthless, yeah.
Oh, man, he's actually cleaned up the majority of those lings.
Medivac now on the way as well, so it's going to be that 4 Hellion drop once again. TY just wants to build that momentum. As I said, that the armory goes down, so maybe we're actually going to see some Hellbat aggression.
I think what we're going to see is, a first drop here into Hellbat aggression, but perhaps even a double drop with Hellbats. He really likes to hit that second drop full of Hellions as the armory's kind of finishing up, or in this case, it's going to be a bit later. But he's not actually making another Medivac, so
he's not really committing to anything just yet. Just completely focused on building SCVs in that extra command center.
2 Queens already in position. Good Overlord coverage here by ByuL. You can see it on the mini-map right now. And he just kind of has to let this go for now. Did not scout the Spire, but obviously can reasonably assume he's going to fake this drop, try to find an opening, and can he get that drone? Yes, he can! Nice snipe there. That's going to significantly delay this 3rd base. Whoa.
Yeah, that's actually a real pain, but he could just very well lose them. He's got to be so careful. He's got to make sure that Medivac doesn't take too much damage either. A lot of lings out now. Oh, man, he's actually just going to try to kill the drone again. I cannot believe that just happened. That actually happened. Oh, that's ruthless.
He's like going for round 3.
Yeah, might as well. He might even just go into the main base now.
All the Queens are out of position now because he panicked so much about this. Look at that, 4 Queens over here.
Oh, it's going to do so much.
0 Queens in the main. Guess how many Hellions it takes to one-shot a drone. Oh, man, look at that positioning using the spawning pool against him as well. And Hellbats are ready. Oh, no, this is a nightmare.
Just more and more damage. It's all adding up here. He does see that Spire finishing up, though, so he knows he's got to get that in the air now. Thor on the way.
Getting plating first this time for the Thors.
Cool. I like it. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a reason myself.
I mean, it's either way, it's going to help, right? It's going to be good against mutas. They're going to do as much damage.
It's also it's actually pretty good against roaches as well for the follow-up, because of repair. The Thors live a little bit longer to do that extra damage. Like, it just gives them a little bit more sustainability in longer fights, I guess. It's an interesting choice. I definitely like the attack more, though.
Well, all those turrets finishing up in time before mutas even make it across the map. So good place to be there. That 3rd base a little exposed. None in the mineral line.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to send a Thor down there in just a moment. It's going to be the primary target, most likely for the mutas as well.
Yeah, also no turret in the production line. So if there was enough mutas, they could fly in and deal with those very exposed factories.
Yeah, and these turrets over here are kind of on the edges. Looks like he just wants to protect his gas more than anything else. Oh, God, he got trapped.
Oh, no. He doesn't want to do that.
He's just relying on his Medivacs for his Thor's mobility to kind of jet them over when they're needed. Move. I think the reason why he ends up using the mutas, or rather the turrets like that, is because it covers both dead airspaces, so they kind of get stuck.
Yeah, I get that impression. That and it covers the gas, which is pretty important in mech. Here we go, a lot of Hellions once again with those double Thor drops.
Oh, man, and ByuL is not paying attention. Definitely needs to turn around here.
Oh, 2 go down.
Plating is done as well, so these Hellions can tank a little bit more Queen shots. while they come in here.
There's not really much to defend against this right now. This is actually looking pretty scary for ByuL.
He's just going to wipe some tumors with it. Look at how fast Thor's fire on the ground. There's one shot of tumor. Spraying the Hellions across. He's actually eliminating a ton of creep spread here. Look at ByuL's creep spread after this. If he just scans one more time, looks like he's just going to back off instead and find his way out of here. A lot of Lings go down on his way out. Man, TY in such a great spot in this game. This little Muta attack over here finding nothing.
We are seeing actually 1-1 for Melly being upgraded for ByuL as well. So it looks like he wants to go into that Ultralist tech finally. So he really needs that creep spread to go across the map. So huge advantage for TY destroying that.
This is going to be the first time in this series really we see him go for this sort of opening. Fast Hive as well. And you look at the Harvesters. TY is at a healthy 66. Very little damage done here by the Mutalists. And, he's not too, it's not too crazy to imagine he might add a 4th CC soon.
Yeah, I think he probably plans to. Probably at the front of his 3rd base at some point. Maybe just making sure he can defend against anything that comes his way at this point. Because, that 3rd base is pretty exposed. It's pretty out there on the map. You want to make sure that low ground is secure before you want to invest any further.
Yeah, 2 Vipers in total.
That scan sees the Hive at least.
Yeah. The Viper's going to have the +1 armor upgrade, going to help them a little bit more surviving to get in and get those blinding clouds. Mula's still trying to find something here. It's just like multitasking perhaps better used elsewhere with those Mutas finding virtually no damage, even Vikings hunting them down.
Yeah, 3 Mutas, not going to find much.
More Hellbat drops queued up here. He's controlled the Watchtower as well, and he's going to clear Overlords on his way over. So these Hellbat drops will go undetected, I believe. 2 Overlords actually just to the right side that he missed.
Let's see if he flies into them or not. Looks like he might... Oh, it's going to be close. He might just miss them. Looking for that natural.
Just barely missed it.
And natural's pretty exposed. You could also go for that gold base.
Looks like the gold base is going to be the target. There's nothing really there. Just going to drop 1, maybe kill that larva eventually, but the roaches do react into the main base, into that natural. And it's just going to have to pick up and go. No blue flame either. +2 plating nearly finished here for TY, who has no attack upgrades in this game. Which is a bit odd, but still.
Still, this attack actually is looking terrifying right now. That is so many tanks.
A lot of SCBs to repair as well.
Oh, see Vipers though. They could go for them. Actually, really out of position. They're not going to get anything down.
Oh my god, no. That's terrible. Now 5 Ultras.
That's game ending, man. Ultras should be able to clean this up if they're in position, but that is so many tanks.
And the spread is solid. Plus, he's got Hellbats and SCVs to zone. And
11.
The Vikings continuing to just spot for which direction these units are going to come from.
11 tanks right now. And they're going to go for it.
Here comes the engage. Ultras coming from both sides. But look, 3 Ultras on 1 Thor. That's not what you want. Even with Queens here, the transfuse. Vikings help to buffer, and this army will get pushed back.
Wow, ByuL in a bad place right now. Bad decision making. Bad choice to fight that army, especially with that blinding cloud.
And those Vipers should not have been there. It was just perhaps he lost them, he misplaced them.
Full energy Vipers. They all died before anything went down. Just a massive blunder. Massive misplay there from ByuL, and he's going to be kicking himself because he's almost lost the game because of it.
I mean, he lost the base for it, at least. Now, this must be enough to push this army back, I would say, with all these transfuses. The tanks are spread, but they're so spread that when Blinding Cloud comes in, he's going to push this back.
Yeah.
TY definitely going way too far on creep here.
Yeah, it actually was such an overcommittal, and look at the army supplies now. 60 in favor of ByuL. He's coming across the map, going to try and crash down on the 4th base.
I think he saw blood in the water, like he thought he was just going to win off of that.
Yeah, that was actually a really big misread, I think. He might have thought that ByuL just made the most critical error of all, and he could just win the game beyond it. But now it's looking the other way around.
He's trying to switch into Banshees because he knows ByuL's creep spread is so terrible that if Ultras come to counterattack right now, the Queens are not likely going to be with them. And if they are, it's going to buy him a lot of time because he's taken so long to get across the map. This gold base totally exposed here meanwhile.
Yeah, it actually could just go down if they let it be. Looks like we are seeing the army, or at least some of the army, turn around. 5 roaches are going up that way.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be helpful. TY really utilizing that transformation on the Hellions a lot. He's like constantly switching them between modes to use their mobility, harass, and then like switch into kill mode. And kill even a Spine Crawler, like sneaking around here, finding a way into that mineral line. So many Thors and Banshees now ready, and ByuL could not find that timing for the counterattack.
Well, he's still up 50 supply as well, so he could actually try He's just not confident enough, it seems. Like, he feels like he defeated the army, but he's still playing from behind or something, but it's quite the other way around, and that 4th base was actually so exposed because it took so long to start upgrading them to a planetary.
Yeah, I feel like ByuL's feeling right now is just kind of like, oh, I cannot have another bad fight or I'll lose the game. I'd rather make sure I'm 100% ready to fight. He has 16 Queens and 10 Ultras now versus only 6 Thors and 2 Banshees. Like, he could absolutely start taking some good fights with some Vipers.
His lack of confidence in this game so far, I guess, would be the bottom line. He's just, or maybe just a lack of information. He's not scouting well enough. He just can't find the army, so he doesn't know for sure what he's up against.
Yeah, and he's, really focusing on these Hellion run-bys as well. How many Vipers, can you check, are on the map? Just one.
Just one.
Okay.
He just keeps losing them for no reason. Just a little bit of miss-micro with his hockeys. So many Thors are out now, by the way. Currently sitting at 9.
Yeah, and 2 more on the way. It's just rapidly increasing how many he has, and I feel like it's really interesting that he's just now getting the +1 because +1 and the attack upgrades are insanely important versus the Ultras. So again, that's another thing that ByuL could absolutely have capitalized on the missing attack upgrades while the Thor count was low.
Yeah, I'll certainly say. ByuL just kind of happy to trade it out, it seems. He's like, well, you know what, I'm going to let you remake your army. I'm going to let you keep your 4th base and even try and take a 5th. And I'm just going to wait until you come into creep and try and kill you.
ByuL's multitasking failing him a bit here, I feel, overall. He's 1Aing his entire army, including every Ultralist, to deal with 4 Hellions. When, just simply put, he has 4,300 minerals, could just drop 2 spines in every base and relax. I mean, he's got spines up at the gold, right? And it's working really well for him. Why not add that to the rest of his bases?
Yeah. Yeah, he just seems to be really preoccupied with dealing with these run-bys beyond all other sort of ideas. He let that 5th base go up for nothing.
Exactly. He just let it go. And look at TY. Look at how the difference in how these 2 players operate when it comes to banks. He's got a third of the bank at ByuL, but he's making a ton of turrets here to help buffer for his tanks. Obviously going to be great against any air units, but in this case, it's really just a buffer. It's it's an inexpensive but useful structure. It's going to give him detection. Also, later on against Corruptor is going to be quite good.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Nidus?
Not a bad choice at this point in the game. I mean, that pocket natural as well as the main base is going to be pretty left open. And if TY is distracted with the main army, it could very well kill him.
We're going into Corvid Reactor Raven as well for TY. He's not going into BCs. He's just really preferring to go into that Energy Caster.
No, that's interesting too, considering the army that he's up against. Pure Queen as the anti-air and some Vipers and then a bunch of Ultras. I guess he's worried about that remax too, but Mass Raven certainly isn't weak at all. It's pretty much just as strong, I feel.
ByuL is prepared for air. Obviously, he's getting Pathogen Glands just finished for his Infestors. He's going to have Adrenal Glands for his Lings, should Lings become more important as the game goes on. And actually, we're going to see an Ultra run by here. I don't really know about this one. I mean, there's a few SUVs to be had here, but it's going to be a very expensive trade.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
But it brings him a little bit out of position. He's going to try to capitalize on that. Turrets here to tank. Oh, this actually ends up being pretty smart.
Well, we're actually seeing a huge army of Banshees and those Ravens come up here to try and defend this 5th base. And it's going to demolish this army if they get a fight, so long as they don't get completely fungled.
Yeah. Look at that Banshee splits. Again, I want to reiterate this. Very famous Wraith Micro in StarCraft 1 out of Baby. And we're going to see similar splits and maneuverability here on these Banshees.
Looks like ByuL going to move back now that he's seen the Banshees are in play. He wants to try and find a good fungal for them.
He has 2 Overseers right now as well, so that's kind of a scary thing. They need a few more than that. Because Queens will not deal with Banshees if they can't see them.
No, certainly not. And a lot more Banshees still coming out, and Thors as well. And more and more Ultras coming out for ByuL. That's a lot of tanks to be going Ultras into. That's, sorry, not tanks, Thors. 17 Thors.
And there was upgrades now +2, I believe, on those Thors. Nearly. And we'll be +3 obviously soon after that.
And that is, we're currently sitting at 12 Banshees as well.
Oh, and the Vipers, they do survive there barely. One Thor going to go harass. I like this Thor harass we're starting to see in this matchup.
ByuL, he's posturing for a fight. I don't know how he's going to fight this army, though. It's so spread out.
I mean, Blinding Clouds don't do well against Mass Thor because obviously like a Blinding Cloud could hit up to maybe 3 Thors because they're just such big units. Their footprint is huge.
Yeah. Not to mention they can move. It's not like they're immobilized by like tanks are when they're in siege mode.
I feel like he needs more Infestors to deal with the Banshees, and He needs to start yanking Thors with Vipers. Like, he needs more Vipers in general.
Yeah, maybe even Hydras, but look at this.
Oh, man, going to the line of sight blocker, never what you want to do. Never, ever, ever.
No, running into that like that is a huge mistake. We're actually seeing Lings come out. I like Lings against Thors like this because they're going to take so much time dealing with them.
Again, TY's rotation back here to defend, pretty solid. Here comes the Fungals and Blinding Clouds, so the Banshees still relatively uncontested. There's the Fungal needs, but here comes some Seeker Missiles, and look at all the Thors at the back. Stuck dealing with those Overseers, but still, I mean, the anti-air is mostly gone here.
Yeah, these Banshees are doing way too much damage, and every single Ultra is evaporated now. And look how many Thors have left over. We're sitting at 11 and 14 Banshees.
Let's see how he switches, man. What are you going to make in this case? He starts 3 Queens, that's all he's decided. 16 Hydras, that's not enough.
No, Hydra's not going to be the trick here.
He's got +3 armor.
Oh, man, what do you even make?
The Hydras have +1 attack.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. I think he needs more Lings if he's going to be up against an army it's purely single target damage.
Here's a crazy idea. Mass Speed Banes. We saw an ST deal this exact composition with that, but it would have to be defensively used on creep. I just can't think of any units that are going to be able to close the gap on these Thors.
Well, I like...
Brood Lords would be another obvious choice, but he doesn't have the time to get them. He's just now starting his Greater Spire.
Ling, Ultra, Hydra, Queen. Thank you.
Okay.
Done. That's my opinion. Ling's going to tie up a lot of those Thors. Ultras will have more time to actually start to hit them. Hydra's going to deal with those Banshees quickly, as well as do a lot of damage to Thors as well, if they get a good position. Beyond that, I mean, yeah, Broodlords are going to be a good answer
Look
as well.
Look at this split, trying to just target down the Infestor. There's only one Infestor, but obviously the detection comes in, not going to happen. He's actually finding so much damage with these Banshees as well. Look at this. Going to come over here, kill this building hatchery. Yeah, right. Not happening, man. And one over here is only 0 Spore Crawlers at this base. It's already weakened from that Thor attack earlier.
Man.
It's going to lose another hatch.
Such a hard position to be in. So many Hydras right now. Wow, that is actually a ridiculous amount. He's currently sitting at 30. A couple of Mutas coming out too. I guess just to chase away those Banshees.
6 Ravens. Not enough for like some sick PDDs, but obviously Secret Missile can be quite good. And Thors do a lot of ground-to-ground damage, and they have a lot of armor. There's no +3 for the Hydras yet. Something he definitely desperately would like to get out.
Yeah, big mistake not upgrading that any time earlier.
Like, he has tons of money. The money is not an issue here. Time is the issue, and he's definitely not working with it.
Very smiley from TY, keeping up the tank count. You know, he's currently sitting at 6. You always want at least some tanks to deal with this kind of composition, just in case they do remax with it. So very important, as well as, you know, zoning out Queens and Infestors especially.
No. TY's not yet been able to build a massive bank, but it kind of is starting now. It's at the point where he's nearly at the point where he's got a bank. Whereas ByuL still has a massive one, despite losing all his bases. So he can kind of rest his laurels on that for a little bit longer. +2 flyer finishes. Broodlord's definitely something that it was going to be what he wants to do later. Oh, is he going to do a Remax? Looks like it. Impact style.
All right.
Getting some Corruptors in here.
That's actually really good against the Banshees and Ravens as well. It's going to give them the appropriate targeting.
So 228 oversupply. This Nidus, unfortunately, will not finish away those Banshees. Nearly +3. And 14 more Corruptors with that oversupply. Going to give him a little bit more flexibility versus the Banshees, but with 10 Thors on the map, not 100% sold on them. We'll see how much they do.
Yeah, I mean, even if the Thors are shooting at them, that's, you know, less damage on all the ground units that are going to be doing work against them.
I think that's part of the reason why there's also 10 Overseers in this army as well.
Yeah. It's an interesting kind of combination, but it's going to come down to more than anything else the positioning of it, because so many turrets are going up around this gold base. Such a big spread.
So one tank is just set here for one reason. That's one reason alone.
What if he put it next to the tank so he can't reach it? It's like out of range. He's not paying attention.
That would probably be smarter, but there's like 1 million turrets there.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2 million turrets, actually.
Literally 2 million.
Let's try and take this gold base, which is so far undetected by TY. TY's own gold base nearly mined out. 2 Mutas and an Overseer probably going back for that different Nidus attempt. Okay, spots the Banshee. That's what he's going for. Banshee's like, I've got +3 armor. I'll kill the hatch before you kill me.
Well, game is really slowed down at this point. Though I think TY's in a lot of trouble with well, he was in a lot of trouble with that bank being so small. Since he maxed out, though, he's had a lot of time to just rebuild it before an attack comes.
He's actually really committing to deal with these Banshees. And this gives TY an opportunity to clear up some of that creep on the left side of the map because he doesn't care. He just fly those away. There's no corruptors nearby for some reason. He's clearing up a lot of creep during this.
Such a big army for ByuL. It's just about how he uses it. Where does he find the attack? Because the defensive position right now for TY is so hard to break.
Yeah.
Planetary in front, so many turrets, sieged up tanks.
And the thing is, that base is barely even important. It's more about like the position than anything else. There's only 3 patches left. The planetary is not important for money. It's important for like its utility as a positional fortress, literally as it's called. Fusion core, high sec auto tracking, all these upgrades starting to come out here. Probably see building plating in a moment as well. And this is the longer games we were kind of expecting to see in this series.
Yeah, we're going to certainly see this on this map, and as well as Terraform. I would be very surprised if that doesn't end before like the 30-minute mark or something crazy.
Yeah. A bunch of changelings coming in here, trying to maybe force them to do some friendly fire, but it's not going to happen. Banshee's continuing to kind of maraud around that hatchery location. As soon as a drone shows up, just kind of one-shot that base. I don't think ByuL's ever going to be able to take it unless he gets corruptors over there. Hydras are not gonna do it. It looks like he will protect it for now.
It's also like a tank siege up on the other side. They can reach the gold minerals just, well, the very far one at least. So the Banshees are kind of covered from the Hydras. Cheeky. 3
more factories. We normally don't see this. He's ready to remax Thors if things get dicey in an engagement. We don't normally see Terran players rebuild factories like you would see a Pro build gates. We're actually going to see a fight here. Oh, man, I don't know about this one. Here we go. Point defense drones amassed down here, as well as seeker missiles, which are not being split against whatsoever. Tons of anti-air damage being put off by these Thors. And look at the Zerg army melt. It's fallen to pieces.
Just nothing done at all. Not a single scratch on this Terran army. Still maxed out.
He lost 6 supply. Why in the world? And 3 of that was in SCVs. Why in the world would be able to take that engage? 75 larva to make what? Mutas?
You know, we've seen this happen to ByuL against Innovation as well. He made some bad choices when it came to fighting. Maybe he just got impatient. Maybe he wants to remax with Broodlord.
I meant to say Broodlord's not Mulus. Of course, not Mulus in this case. But he doesn't have enough corruptors to make more than 6 broods. That's all he's got.
I mean, still, it's going to be up against a lot of Thors. They can still work against Broodlords if there's not too much to buffer for them.
There's also 7 Vikings. BC's coming up here. He's just losing everything. This just gives TY the opportunity to seal the deal and win this game.
I think it's pretty much ended from here. Like, even despite the bank of ByuL, he couldn't find an answer. Now he's remaxing while the Terran army crashes on his production. And there we go. So much damage happening to these corruptors.
No splits against the missiles, the seeker missiles in that fight.
Oh, but hold on. We're actually seeing a lot of Thors actually attack corruptors instead of these Broodlords, so maybe he doesn't actually have enough to really deal with it.
Yeah, he's actually kind of really being indecisive here. The corruptors are now chasing the Banshees, which is going to zone him out so he can kill those Broodlords. So, smart move here. The Banshees, most of them should be able to escape. ByuL still has a pretty big bank, so even though he's lost a lot of these bases, the gold base is mining. The Banshees are gone. Can he actually just clean this up?
Looks like he might just.
This is kind of reminiscent of what we saw in the early game on this map. It's just like, okay, I want to fight, now I win, right? It's like, well, take your time about it.
Yeah, he literally did the same thing again, overextended. And when he saw the army, he didn't react. He kind of attack moved with his Thors, and they were dealing with Broodlings while everything else was dying. Granted to say, maybe the Thors weren't enough to actually deal with those Broodlords. It was like 6 Broodlords. It should have been more than enough Thors to deal with them.
Yeah.
Just a messy fight in general. Now it's kind of back to square one.
Well, I feel like ByuL is in a really good spot now, because now he can just switch to Broodlord safely. I highly favor his position in this game. Let's see how many Trones go down here. Oh my God, such a great move.
All of them.
All but one?
All but one. Well, you know, he loses a base like this. It's going to be about, does TY have the time to remax?
Well, notice he keeps scanning. He's scanning all over. He's like, what do I build? Okay, the answer is Vikings and Ravens, and that's exactly what he is building.
Thing to note as well, ByuL does not have an income right now. He's literally at 0 for a while longer because he's remaking hatcheries.
And also remaking drones. He's down to 6 harvesters in this game. 6 drones. Now going up to 22 in total with the 16 he just made.
8 Broodlords are on the map. If he can deal with these Broodlords, if he can maybe kite them and one-shot them with enough Vikings, then he can just move on up with his Thors, and the rest should be pretty easily dealt with.
Yeah. Gets caught with those Hellions there. He needs to get more Vikings out. He's got 20 to 21 Corruptors currently. He's going to let this planetary go. Queens are important. Seeker missiles are important. The thing is, we talked about this last time. He didn't really split his units against the Seeker missiles, but if you split, that means you're on move command, which means you're not firing. So it's like a lose-lose situation kind of when there's that many Seeker missiles on the map.
Unless you use those Seeker missiles and fly them into the Vikings and Thor, Terran army in general.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point.
That's actually something that's so powerfully used, especially if they're Corruptors, because they can take a lot of hits.
Yeah, especially with +3 armor.
We actually see 8 Vipers with this army as well this time.
Yeah,
so that's very scary against Vikings.
We're definitely going to see some abducts. 8 Vikings in production. TY's bank being significantly depleted here. His economy now in shambles. Trying to find an angle perhaps on these Broodlords with his Vikings from the side.
He's still got a pretty sizable ground force as well, with a number of tanks and Hellbats to help out.
But they're about to get wiped here potentially by these Broodlords.
Uh-oh.
He needs to find an angle with his Vikings. There's one BC. He's like the commander of this army. TY's in that BC.
Yeah, well, that's going to get abducted in a second, so that might not be a good thing.
Yeah. 13 Ravens. Oh, that was a pretty ambitious hatchery there.
Now, these Ravens can do a lot of work with those Seeker missiles, especially at point defense drones, keeping everything alive for a lot longer. And that's we're looking at about 21 Corruptors against 34 Vikings right now. So they might even just be able to go toe-to-toe.
He's going to have like an arc of Vikings. All right. He's making that arc. Look at that. Look at this position here. Yanks tanks. A bit of a surprising choice here. I'm not entirely sure why he would want to do that, but here comes the Viking fleet. The splits here against the Bungles, and he's on the chase.
All the Vipers getting really destroyed. They're not actually being microed at all. A huge blunder there.
Oh, look at the PDDs. He dropped so strategically placed. And now a concave of Vikings with a BC at the back protecting against the ground army. This is going to be game over here. It looks like despite TY's overextensions in this game, he has done it. There's a small Hydra force on the ground. Will it be enough? Actually, here comes some Bungles.
Oh, I think he can just land from here and just deal with everything else if he wants to.
He's just going to back off.
He's going to back off for now, but man, that's so many Vikings still in the air.
Yeah,
Choosing not to fight it. Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like this choice. Okay, he's going to try to get into a good position here. Using the BC almost to kind of help zone. There's the yank, but there's not anything to really help hit it anymore. No. Keeps grabbing it.
This time, the command ship has died.
Don't worry, TY wasn't actually on that ship.
He wasn't on it. He's fine. He can rebuild that.
But this is important because now he has a mining base with gold mineral patches. ByuL, on the other hand, still struggling to find another base to mine from. And with all those Mews coming in, even though they don't get the bonus minerals, he's going to have so much better income. He's going to be able to remake tanks, and he's going to be able to deal with ByuL's ground army, which is the one thing he can't deal with his Vikings currently.
Well, that's the one thing he needs more than anything else right now. Dealing with a tank. It's just remaxing on Hydras at this point.
This is a close game still. It could go either way, but I favor TY's position.
I agree with you. But still, it's a scary ground army for the Zerg. If they can get the Blinding Clouds or the Fungals.
Triple the income currently. It's really important to note. Look at that. 2,100 to 700 minerals per minute. And that's allowing him to make these tanks faster than ByuL can remake his Hydras. Ooh, this is cool. I like this. Any tools that you could bring, these Spore Crawlers?
Why not? Little staging points so you can abduct into just about anything into there.
Yeah. Plus, just fighting as well in general over them becomes a lot more difficult with those Vikings.
Still, it's like so many Hellions at a time, plus those tanks. It's going to be great against these Hydras.
And TY just getting that bank up. Still a massive Viking count. And he's going to lose this mining base. Not the most important one to lose, but somewhat important. He's making a lot of Hellions to help deal with these Hydras as well. He's like, oh, pure Hydra? What about Blue Flame Hellions? That seems pretty good. 2 Ultras still on the map to help zone these out as well. And now is the time to grab the tanks. Maybe not in that fight, but now it's really important. Any tank you can pick off is going to make your Hydra stronger.
Yeah, can't afford to lose the Vipers there. If he loses them, there's still like a fleet of Vikings waiting for them to come. Like that. Oh, he lost one.
Look at all these Hellions now.
I don't know why he's doing that. I don't know why he's doing that.
He killed a few Hydras.
I guess, but I mean, if he gets a bad fungal, he loses all these Hellions, essentially.
I'd rather see him harass the Hellions around the map. There's definitely a few locations where you could get that,
going. 4 Hellions up to that center base. You can pretty much deal with all the drones before anything gets there.
Units lost in this game, insane for both players. 60k to 53. And just the Vipers rather kind of built up their energy, as well as the Ravens, which is what I was going to say, is they're all kind of full energy at this point. Hellions can kite Ultras at this point. I mean, you got to be careful fighting like that. Okay. I like how he keeps half the Vikings on the ground, kind of as a buffer.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that army, there's not really too much beside those Vipers. Man, he lost a full energy Viper for nothing.
He can't reinforce those. He has 134 gas right now. He's got 1 Viper left. That's it.
Yeah, he's making some big blunders with them. All game long, all series long, his Viper control. It's like he learned a new hockey and he's still getting used to it or something.
Well, a few of these factories being taken out. He's finding damage where he can.
TY going for it, actually.
Oh, he's going to break this static defense here. So many Hellions actually to tank that. Oh! I thought we saw the fungal going down there. It was just the sport core shooting the Vikings. We got scared.
Oh, here we go. Gonna go for the big fight here.
Okay, there's a lot of fungals to be had here. There they go, but so many siege tanks as well as secret missiles being used. But you know what? Vikings in the air, definitely not as powerful as they would be on the ground. Now they start to land here to give some buffer to the tanks. A fairly close fight with those infested Terrans, but I think there's just too many Vikings here.
Yeah, just a little too much, and still too many tanks sieged up at the back. All the Hydras are going down from here.
Yeah. Just barely going to be a victory here for TY. What a crazy game this has turned out to be. He scans that base. Now, he'd like to repair some of those Vikings, but he's got no money.
Well, it's like the one thing, right? It's like, do you overextend again, TY? Is this the time when you actually throw the game because you can't reinforce anymore, or are you going to try and take another base?
I think he should try to take another base. The thing is, he can't even, like, go in and walk into these bases with his Vikings and Hellions because there's a lot of spine crawlers there, and so many of these units are in the low. Okay, he's going to take this blue mineral patch base.
TY's still kind of positioning everything. He's got to be so careful that this Roach Remax doesn't actually just come and attack. He's sieging up now. He doesn't exactly know where the army is. It's actually on top of the Zelnaga tower.
Yeah. Well, actually finds it now with that SCV. Let's see how he decides to deal with this. He could try to crush it and flank it.
Oh, he's going for those infestors, actually. He might actually lose all his Hellions here.
Yeah, they're going to bite the dust. That was a questionable decision.
That's actually a huge blow. There's nothing buffering these tanks now.
Yeah. This game could go either way. It's absolutely possible for other players still currently in this game to win it. There's another one of those games also that could almost go to a stalemate if the entire map gets mined out. This is going to be the moment where TY starts to assess how many minerals are actually left on the map. That's what he's scanning to see right now. He's probably going to think about taking that base that was empty earlier to the left side, start mining from there. I mean, yeah, he has it, but needs to mine from it.
I think it's all going to be about that gold base at the center. I think that's going to be the drawing point. Like, whoever gets that is going to have the army to win the game. But right now, ByuL looks like he's heavily in favored. And he's actually going to go for a huge attack here.
He's going to go into the tanks here, and Hellbats do finally come into reinforcement. A lot of the tanks went down first. I think he might have enough to break this. Vikings do land here. Fungals to help support. Hellbats transforming very, very late, and he's actually running away instead of fighting this. I absolutely think he can push in with the Hellbats, and there he finally does, pushing this army back.
This tank's too far back to really cover that command center, but he's going to pull back again.
A lot of the supply difference here in workers. TY down to 12 harvesters, but he has mules, mind you, so the economy's still pretty even. It's just about the army supply, which he is down about 12 in, but he's got a good composition.
He needs tanks. He needs more tanks. If TY can get tanks out, enough of them, maybe he has a shot at fighting this army when it remaxes.
Oh my god, that's a money gas right there. 1,240 left on that extractor, or refinery. He needs to get mining for that. Korean commentators are going crazy about it too, because that's so much gas on this map that's going untapped.
Yeah, that's actually a huge blunder right there. He needs that.
Look at this, a few mutas.
Oh, man. Well, still enough Vikings left over, but it actually got a lot of SCVs.
Yeah, and that really counts.
That's a mining base.
This means less scans as well to really assess the situation, because you have to be dropping your mules when you're in a position like this. Oh, look at that. Even saves them there with that +3 armor. Oh, man, that gas is so money right now. That's what he needs for the tanks.
He's actually creeping forward. He wants to get this gold base secured. Got to be so careful there. There's so many roaches and hydras out now. Only 3 tanks.
He needs gas. He needs gas to make those tanks. Like, I feel like ByuL could almost engage in the moment here because of the lead he has in roaches versus only 3 tanks. If he knew there were only 3 tanks, I think he absolutely would be pushing on this.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. He's got those infestors as well.
Okay, he's mining from the gas now. He found it.
Oh, he realized. But is it too late?
Some scouting spines are starting to assess as well. How many tanks do you have? No, not that many. 24 roaches.
He could even go for a blinding cloud if he wanted to make it even easier. He could just invest in 1 Viper.
Okay, with this gas up now.
Oh, fungal.
See if he can chain it. Oh, gets 3. They should get out after this one.
Yeah.
During the animation. Well, 22 roaches, 3 tanks, 29 Hellions.
ByuL's
man, he's going to go for it. There's the Blinding Cloud on top of these Hellbats. Still so many tanks left over at the back, uncontested. That one way at the back, not able to really fire here. Hellions need to pull back here. SUV's coming up the line, and this is going to be the game. He's going to take it.
ByuL finally breaking TY after all this time.
An hour-long game. GG. ByuL takes it, putting him on match point, potentially to be the very first Zerg player in a Star League Finals.
Man, what a grind of a game. It really went down to the last resources there. It was all going to be about that gold base in the end of all things. And TY just overextending too many times. His army got reset again and again, and it gave ByuL a huge winner to come back into this.
Weak resource management as well. Not using all of his mineral patches as well as important refineries that scatter around the map that he was not utilizing. That gas that he needed to make more siege tanks was the most important thing, and yet he still was not able to realize that it was right under his nose. 1,240 gas. He could have been mining that entire time.
Well, here we go. Iron Fortress could very well be the final map here. It's going to be ByuL's one chance to play on a not very mech-favored map for the rest of the series, because the last map is going to be Terraform.
Yep,
His best opportunity is this, man.
This is going to be the way to close it out. You know, TY is no innovation, but just looking at the way, even though ByuL beat innovation on Terraform, when you look at that game, it looks like innovation beat himself. It was not one of the games you look at and you go, wow, ByuL's great on Terraform. Whereas when I look at Rogue on Terraform, I'm like, well, this Zerg is really good on Terraform. So Game 7 is a risky thing to have to go to. He wants to close it out right here, right now. He's on match point with a 3-2 score.
Well, going to get into it in just a second. Maybe the player's having a little bit of a break before that 6th game. That was a 50-minute game, Wolf.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had one, man.
Well, I'm really keen to see how this ends up. Iron Fortress, not a good map for mech. It's a lot harder to hold all 4 bases.